Hello, everybody. Welcome to the lunch table. My name's Evan. Today I'm here. Today I'm joined with Joel and Nick, and today we're going to be doing some week one predictions for NFL starts this weekend. We're going to talk some college football because football is back. It's football season. We're hyped. We're ready. So we're going to talk about all of that today. But before we do, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at lunchtable.takes and to subscribe if you like this video because we're very close to our goal of 100 subscribers. So please help us to reach that. Without further ado, we'll jump right into it. First, talking about college football. Started this past Saturday. There were a couple of really good games that went on. But first, let's talk about this Colorado TCU game. You got Colorado, new coach, obviously Deion Sanders. They completely rehauled that roster. I think there was only like 10 or 12 guys remaining on the team from last year, so it's a completely new roster. And I mean, they played against the TCU team that team went to the national championship last year, but that was obviously with different guys, but they were still ranked, what was it, 17 or
17? Yeah, 17.
They're ranked 17 in the top 25, and I mean, they put on a show. So what were you guys' initial thoughts on that game and how Colorado played?
I will start off by saying this. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably the only one that can do it at this point, but they were 21-point underdogs, like heading into the game. And I was looking at that. I'm like, there's no way. There is no way that Colorado – I know there's a lot of changeover, but Colorado, there's no way that's going to happen. And I'm going to say this flat out right now. Shadir Sanders was not even the best player on the field. He wasn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. He had an unreal game, breaking school records left and right. But Travis Hunter is unreal. The fact that he's playing both ways, that blew my mind. Having 11 receptions, 119 yards, and a ball hawk on defense too. And even on like when you were watching the game and listening to what they had to say, they asked, "So which side of the ball do you think he's better at?" And the Joel Klatt said, "I don't know. Like, he's that good on both sides of the ball." I was impressed with him. Very impressed, actually. And you could definitely tell TCU lost a lot from last year, though, too. And I feel like that's something we also have to factor in. But I'm excited to keep watching this Colorado team. I think they got a lot of potential this year, that's for sure. But I don't know if it's, to the level of being where they want to be right now, but I think it's on the right track.
For sure. And like you said, you said what, 20.5-point underdogs going in that game?
21.
I knew that TCU was not 21 points better than Colorado. And I think that was just a general theme with Vegas in general last week, is they did not respect the transfer portal nearly enough that they should have. I mean, this game doesn't really matter, but UMass beat New Mexico State. They overhauled a lot of their roster after being, I think it was 10.5-point underdogs. And like you touched on, Shedeur Sanders was not even the best player on his own team, which is crazy because he was the best quarterback in the country last week. Like, that's one of the best opening day performances I've ever seen out of any quarterback.
Yeah.
He was dealing. I watched a majority of that game. I don't think he missed a throw, like a crucial throw in the game at all.
No, I think if maybe one or two throughout the entire game, but everything.
I mean, he only had 9 incompletions the entire game.
Over 500 yards. Was it 4 or 5 touchdowns?
4.
5? 4. Okay, doesn't really matter. But I mean, Travis Hunter. I mean, I've been following him since before he even committed to Florida State, but he is a superstar. Mm-hmm. You want to make a name for yourself overnight. That's how you do it. I have never seen a performance like that ever. You said 11 catches, 119 yards. I think it was also like 2 tackles, 3 pass deflections, and then that insane interception towards the goal
game.
line. And I think he only allowed like 2 catches.
Yeah.
On receivers he was covering the whole game. And the thing that impressed me the most about it is after the game, he was like, I wasn't tired. Like I could have gone back out there. He played over 110 snaps in the Texas Heat. And afterwards, he said 119 yards, an interception, and a best player on the field. And he said, I could have kept going. I could have played a whole nother quarter if we had to. Like, that's insane to me.
It is.
That's ridiculous. I don't know how sustainable it is because Colorado's defense did not – they just weren't good, especially in that second half. But, I mean, as long as they keep scoring, it's going to be kind of hard to stop them. Also, shout out Dylan Edwards, true freshman, 4 total touchdowns, I think it was.
Yeah.
Also a beast. He should be getting more credit than he's doing. Obviously, all the attention's going on Shador and Travis Hunter, but Dylan Edwards also dog. So
go ahead.
I'm very excited to watch this Colorado team the rest of the year. I think when they play like USC and Washington, that could be real fun. Yeah.
My thing is I'm going to point out one more thing, though. They have to figure out a run game. They have to. They had no run game. It was non-existent. If they were moving the ball, they were passing. And, I mean, we know this from just playing a little bit, from what we have of experience. You have to be able to balance it out. When you get one-dimensional, it's going to be pretty easy to stop you.
Yeah.
But overall, like Nick said, I was impressed. I'm looking forward to those, like the USC game. I think that'll be an amazing game. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on what you guys said, it was a very impressive performance all around. I mean, you think Dion came from coaching an HBCU to coming in and beating a pretty good, or at least a top 25 team, and on a team that last year didn't win a single game. So, I mean, and Shador Sanders, I mean, you guys touched on all of it. He shined. I think he's going to be a great player. I think his passing mechanics are pretty in tune. I think he's got a good sense of where to put the ball, and obviously you saw that. I think he's going to be a first-round pick in this year's draft if he keeps up this pace. I think he's going to be a pretty good player. And then, I mean, Travis Hunter, man, just absolute unreal. You talk about a guy who played 129 total snaps, like Nick said, wasn't even tired. I mean, he had that absolutely insane interception there in the red zone, which was just shows off his athletic.
That's pure athlete right there.
Yeah. And I mean, we've seen it since he was in high school. I mean, he was just destroying people in high school. And I mean, he's continuing to do that here against the Big 12 team. And I mean, for him to be playing wide receiver and corner as well as he has, like, we probably haven't seen somebody do that since Deion Sanders, like, which is nuts. So, I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife, and I'm really interested to see, like, what happens with him if he can keep this up, or if eventually, like, he'll just go as a corner or wide receiver. Like, I'm interested to see that. But like you said, Nick, I also agree that we need to talk about Dylan Edwards. I mean, he had a phenomenal game. He's a true freshman, played outstanding. I mean, 135 yards in the air, 3 touchdowns, and then they had a rushing touchdown as well. So it was just all offense for Colorado. Kind of showed you what we've seen from the Big 12 is that defense is pretty non-existent in Big 12 games, and that was evident here again. But I also agree, Joel, that they got to get that running game figured out because, like you said, you can't against good teams. Like, you can't just be a one-dimensional team. Like, you got to be able to move the ball in different ways. And like Ohio State, for example, like that's what's kind of been their Achilles heel at times is they get too pass heavy because they have all these great receivers, but then they don't run the ball as much, and then that kind of puts them behind. But I think Colorado shocked everybody. I don't think anybody was really expecting them to come out the gates this quick. And I mean, it shows they're ranked 22nd now in the top 25 that just came out earlier today. So, I mean, I think they're primed to have a good season. I mean, I don't think they're going to be contenders or anything, but
No.
they're building on obviously what they got. And I mean, they're already better than they were last year. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. Colorado plays Oregon and USC before the month is up. I'm looking at their schedule right now. They've got Nebraska this week and then Colorado State, and then they play Oregon in Eugene, and then they're at home against USC.
Oregon putting up 83 points this weekend.
that was insane.
Yeah, I think it was 80. Yeah, it was over
83 to 7.
81-7 over Portland
81
State.
to 7.
And then Oklahoma won 77-0 or something.
Yeah, it's something stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad for those teams.
Oh yeah, me too. I feel like every game was a blowout except like the teams that I was rooting for.
Yeah. No
like
kidding.
Ohio State.
Yes.
That game was a blowout. That game was never close.
It was a blowout. It wasn't going to be close.
It was just underwhelming.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I expected us to score like 50 points on them, and we scored 30.
20.
Less than half that.
Yeah. So, moving on to the next big game that happened in college football this weekend was the LSU Florida State game, battle of two top 10 teams. LSU, who has gotten a lot of preseason hype due to their quarterback, Jane Daniels, who towards the end of last season really started to come along, and LSU started to come along as a team beating Alabama. And they were kind of riding that hot hand, but they ran into a really good Florida State team that executed very well. And what you guys think of Florida State's performance? And I mean, 21-point win over number 5 team in the country is pretty impressive.
Yeah. For me, I expected it. Florida State is my preseason pick to win the ACC. I think Jordan Travis is really good. Their transfers at receiver I think it's Keon Coleman, 3 touchdowns. Stud at Michigan State. Good luck covering that guy. If you want to talk about great receivers, he's going to be up there with some of the best in the country. And I watched Florida State was down at the half, but the second half was complete domination by them. And on every play, like every single time in the second half where they needed to get an extra yard or two, they would lower their shoulder and pick it up. And after the 4th or 5th time, LSU just didn't even seem like they wanted to be in the game anymore. And I also thought LSU was a little overrated going into the year. I think they could be like a potential dark horse in the SEC. But 5th in the country, no. I didn't think that they were that good. But for me, the big thing with that game is the way Florida State handled themselves, especially in the second half with the physicality. Their defensive line, I mean, Jared Verse is an animal. But everyone on that defensive line was getting pressure all night. That front 7 is looking really, really scary. And combined with another game that I'm sure we're going to touch on here in a couple minutes, I think that Florida State has the ACC to lose right now.
Yeah. I will say I was out of town for this one, so I really didn't get to watch a whole lot of it. But from what I did hear about it and from what Nick said, the physicality portion just showed in the second half. When you out physical a team, you're gonna wear them down pretty quick. I like Jordan Travis. I think he's a stud. I'm looking forward to it, and I I wasn't sure how the ACC was going to look this year, but like you referred to with the whole, Clemson, I would definitely agree. I feel like it's Florida State's conference this year to lose. And I can get behind your point of them being a dark horse this year for even just to go in and make the college, Super Bowl. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I think that they could be they are very well in it. They just need to play their cards right.
Yeah. I mean, Nick, you talked about one player, Jared Verse. I mean, he was an NFL prospect last year, and he came back to school for another year, and I mean, he's dominating just like he was last year. I mean, last year very well could have snuck into the first round. And I mean, if he keeps this up, he will be a first rounder. So he was great. And obviously, Keon Coleman, just absolute stud. Dude, when you talk about athlete, dude's just a pure athlete. I mean, he got recruited. He committed to Kansas to play football and basketball. And then decommitted from there and committed to Michigan State to play just football. And he was an absolute stud at Michigan State. Transferred to Florida State and has hit the ground running. I mean, 122, 3 touchdowns. I mean, he was putting up numbers that says he's one of the best wide receivers in the country. People are saying he could very well be the number 2 receiver taken in the draft this year behind Marvin Harrison. I know it's early, but he was that good. And Jordan Travis just looked like a veteran. I mean, he's been around a while. He was just making the right plays. Only had 1 turnover, 4 touchdowns. He played really well. And I think for LSU's side, I mean, Brian Kelly said it. He said, we weren't the team that we thought we were, which I feel like a bunch of people kind of thought that.
I don't know why you would say that after getting blown out on national TV. That seems kind of demoralizing. But
Brian Kelly, interesting head coach.
He is.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of people thought that they were overrated just due to them being number 5 in the country. And I mean, Jaden Daniels was a fringe Heisman candidate last year. He was on like the preseason watch lists and stuff, so people were expecting him to do well. He did all right. I mean, 347, but I mean, only 1 touchdown, 1 pick. So that Florida State defense really just locked him down. And I mean, other than that, just a complete like Nick said, just out physical them. I mean, Florida State put on a show, and I mean, this is the first time in a while that Florida State's been relevant because I mean, they had that
Jameis Winston
after Jameis Winston where they were just nothing, and then I mean, obviously with Jameis they won a national championship. So I agree with you, Nick. I think it's Florida State's ACC to lose. So with Clemson being where they are now and the ACC being weak anyway when it comes to football, I think Florida State's a good team, and I think they could be, if they keep playing well, could be maybe a dark horse to maybe sneak into the CFB. Anything else on Florida State, LSU, or should we move on to Clemson?
I don't think so.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Clemson Duke, another ACC battle. This one was the most surprising outcome of the weekend. Duke won 28-7, and really a game that looked like all Duke. I mean,
yeah,
Duke's not known to be much of a football school, but they showed it yesterday. So, what are you guys' initial thoughts on that game, and where do you think Clemson stands now as a program? I mean, it's a pretty big loss for them, and I mean, Clemson has been kind of underwhelming these last couple of years.
I saw that score and I said, "Wow." I mean, we've just come to expect so much from Clemson over these past couple of years, and just I feel like there's just so much uncertainty with them right now that like they had insane amounts of talent come through, like class wise. I mean, you had Deshaun Watson, you had T. Higgins. You had all those guys in that little range that they had. And with Trevor Lawrence, of course. I almost forgot Trevor Lawrence. But I feel like there's just so much uncertainty with them now. Duke came ready, and like you said, it was all Duke. They looked amazing. They looked great. I mean, they had that run Leonard had was nuts.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Said, get off me.
Yeah. Like, and I hope that professor lets him turn in his homework late. Did you?
That was so funny. I saw that this morning before I went to class. That was hilarious. He was like, yeah, tell professor, let me turn in my homework late. And then someone in the comments was like, he should have finished it before the game started.
Yeah, no,
I'm like, bro, what?
I mean, I get.
Why
I get
do you care that much?
I get their point, but like at the same time, come on, we're playing Clemson. You think that's the least of my worries,
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I was honestly surprised. I did not expect that from Duke. I've been hearing good things about Leonard though. Like, I mean, they really haven't had they haven't really had a good quarterback since Danny Dimes. And they're saying this guy is supposed to be better than Daniel Jones. So this is what I've heard, from what I've listened to. So I'm intrigued. But honestly, I was surprised, and props to Duke for going out and taking it right to him. That was awesome.
Yeah. Riley Leonard throwing, he was like 50% completion, 175 yards, but he had almost 100 yards on the ground, and obviously that touchdown.
40
yeah.
Yarder.
Duke went 9-3 last year and returned to 18 starters.
That definitely helped.
They were kind of a fringe top 25 team for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Clemson. I think that this game like cemented the end of their like at the top of college football, like competing for national titles run. But yeah. I do think that they can turn it around because they played as bad as humanly possible throughout this entire game and still had a lead in the second half.
That's true.
Like I think they fumbled twice on the goal line, had a field goal blocked and missed another one. Their
running back could not hold on to the ball.
Yeah, if they just clean up all those, it's a one-score game. They have a chance to win at the end.
Yeah.
But Duke also didn't really play a great game either. They had a couple false starts. That muffed punt that set Clemson up early. I think if Clemson cleans up the mistakes, they can turn it around. Their defense still looked all right. Will Shipley is still a stud. But I just thought that Garrett Riley would kind of transform that offense quicker than he has, because Cade Klubnik could not really throw the ball down the field. No. Like their entire offense was just run with Will Shipley, shoot clock, and hope for the best. And when they needed to throw the ball down the field, especially in that second half, they couldn't get it done. So they need to develop that passing game. But I think Clemson can definitely still win the ACC. I think when they play Florida State in a few weeks, they could still very obviously win that game. It's at Death Valley. If they clean up a lot of the stuff that they've been that they were struggling on last night, they can make that game pretty close. But I don't know. It was very underwhelming. Hey, I'm not upset at it though. I'm not mad at it.
Absolutely not.
What do you think, Evan?
Along the same things you did. I was really impressed with how Duke's defense played. Like you said, Nick, Cade Klubnik just couldn't get a pass downfield. It seemed like Duke's defense was locking them up. And one thing that I find funny is 4 and 5 star players for both teams. Clemson had 56 and Duke only had 2, which is nuts.
That's insane.
So, Riley Leonard
ready to play.
Yeah. Riley Leonard was impressive. I mean, on the ground, he had 98 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown is really impressive. And yeah, I think this does mark the end of Clemson's Clemson being one of those kind of top tier teams in college football. I mean, since Trevor Lawrence, Clemson's been underwhelming. Even with DJ Uiagalelei, who was pretty good at times, but you see him now. I mean, his first game with Oregon State, he looked really good. So, I think obviously Clemson's still going to be Clemson, but I think that they're not. It's going to take a lot for them to become national championship contenders again. I think something's going to have to change, whether that's with Dabo, the way he coaches, or recruiting wise. Something's got to change because, I mean, with so many moving pieces now in college football, you got to do something. So. But credit to Duke. I mean, it's a massive win for Duke. First win over a top 25 team, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was their first win versus it was either top 25 or top 10 team in a season opener in program history.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something like that. So, I mean, props to them. It's very impressive. I mean, we'll see how long they stay in the top 25. They got in today at, 23? 21. 21. So we'll see how long, obviously, they stay in there. But
Clemson dropped
really
25.
showing by Duke. Yeah. And I think Clemson's got some question marks, like you said, Joel. There's a lot of uncertainty within that program, and they got to start figuring some things out quick, or they're going to lose their season. So I saw someone tweet, when your season ends before it even started. And then someone tweeted, the Clemson Tigers have been eliminated from the college football playoff.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Twitter
Clemson.
was absolutely wrecking Clemson, especially Ohio State fans. They're like, we ended Clemson's run of they did.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just Twitter was just letting them have it, which is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clemson's got some question marks. So before we get into the NFL portion of the show, we got one big game next week or this week. Texas, Alabama.
Oh baby.
Alabama's ranked number 3, Texas number 11. Just quick thoughts. What do you guys hoping for that game? What do you guys think is going to happen?
Well, I'm hoping Texas wins, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It's going to be a barn burner.
It should be. Obviously, Texas was this close to knocking off Alabama last year before Bryce Young showed why he was the number 1 pick in the draft. With that drive at the end of the game. But I mean, if Quinn Ewers and Xavier Worthy and them can put up a similar game to what they were doing last year in the first quarter or first half or whatever it was, they could make it a really, really competitive game. I still think Alabama's going to win because it's in Tuscaloosa and they're Alabama, and I'm not betting against Nick Saban. But I think it could be a really good game, and I'm very excited to watch it.
I would have to agree. I'm very excited for this game. Like you said, it's easily the best game on the slate for this weekend. I love Quinn Ewers. He's gonna be a stud. I'm just like you said, in Tuscaloosa, it's really hard to go against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. But I think it's gonna be a barn burner to the end. You could see some unreal games from both sides, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot like last year's game was, where it's really close and kind of back and forth, and then one team's going to obviously make that play. But I don't know if it's going to be Bama or Texas, because I mean, obviously, Bama. I mean, their quarterback's Milroe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Jalen Milroe.
Yeah. Obviously, he's not to the point where Bryce Young was last year, so we'll see. And Texas is vastly improved since last year. They got a lot of guys in the transfer portal, a lot of good recruits,
Yeah.
so they're on the come up. But yeah, there'll be a big
We
game.
say that every year though, but they
That's
never
true.
they never really show up.
That's bad, but it's true.
That is true. Texas usually disappoints at some point, but yeah, it should be a fun one.
It'll be a fun one. I'm looking forward to that one. What time does that game start again?
I think it's 7:30 or 8.
7 o'clock.
Let's go. I can actually watch it.
ESPN.
I can actually watch that
Yeah,
one.
I don't know if I'll be able to because Spectrum is bad.
Yes,
That's the-
TV, Nick.
oh, I'm going to. It's will happen by the end of the week.
Good.
I'll be in Columbus, so I'm sure I'll see it somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably like a bar or something later that night.
Maybe. We'll see.
All right, moving on to some NFL news before we get into our week 1 predictions. Just came out a couple hours ago. Travis Kelce suffered a hyperextended knee at practice today, which puts him as uncertain to play on Thursday's opener against the Lions. How much do you think this injury is going to hurt the Chiefs coming in here against the Lions week 1?
I'm gonna just say this right now. Even when Kelce was there, I had uncertainty because I was nervous about the other side of the ball. With Chris Jones sitting out and holding out, that is a huge piece. But adding Kelce to the mix, I think that hurts even more. You're going to have to rely on guys like Sky Moore. You're going to have to rely on a bunch of unknowns in that offense. Like, don't get me wrong, you still have Patrick Mahomes. You have the best player on the face of the earth. But I'm still nervous. I feel like that defense is susceptible now because Chris Jones is a freak. We can't ignore that. And then you lose your top weapon in Travis Kelce. It's going to take I think this is going to be could probably be one of the best games easily to start off the year for 1, and 2 of this week. I'm excited for the Lions, dude. I think the Lions could be something to be reckoned with this year, but I think it opens the door for a lot of uncertainty. I hope he comes back, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. I was looking up Travis Kelce to see if there were any updates, and Schefter did tweet 5 minutes ago that Travis Kelce's his ACL is intact.
That's good.
So it's just a hyperextension. But hyperextension injuries are not something to be toyed with.
Oh, well, trust me, I've done it myself.
Yeah, they are notoriously difficult to come back from, even with proper recovery and whatnot. And like you said, Chris Jones holding out leaves that defense a little susceptible.
Big hole.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, if there's one quarterback in the NFL that can overcome all these setbacks, it's Patrick Mahomes. So the Chiefs definitely still have a shot in that game. Plus, the Lions' defense was objectively bad last season.
Made a lot of moves.
Yeah. I don't know if it's all going to cohesion, though. I don't know if it's all going to come together.
Fair. Especially week 1. Yeah,
and you gave Andy Reid like 4 months to prepare for this game. So, so I don't know if it'll. I think it made the game closer, definitely.
I think it was going to be close regardless. With that, I mean, Kelce makes it even closer, but I thought with Chris Jones not playing, I thought it was going to make it extremely close.
Yeah. But
if that makes sense.
It should be a really good game. Should be high scoring with the two offenses. I think it's a good way to kick off the season for sure.
The most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously losing Kelce, he's your best weapon on that offense by far. It's gonna hurt. And I think, Joel, like you said, Chris Jones not being there is really going to hurt the defense. I was reading something. It was like when Chris Jones is on the field, like the amount of pressures that the Chiefs get is like 90% or something like that. And then without him, it's like 25% or whatever. Like it's
I was gonna say his impact on that team and in the game, any game that he's in, his impact is unreal. Honestly, he's one of the most impactful players in the league on defense. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's top 3 in my opinion, and I even consider him the top, especially for that team. He is that piece that you need. He's that much of an impact, and I think we're gonna see that on Thursday with him probably not playing.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find the exact like percentages. I might not be able to find it, but obviously,
But
like
no,
you said,
that makes sense.
losing Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, I mean, that's 2 of your best players on both sides of the ball. It's really going to make an impact. And I think the Lions, I think they got a good squad. They've improved every year. I think they're going to get the Chiefs a run for their money. But like you said, Nick, I mean, you give Andy Reid 4 months to prepare for this game. You still have the best player on the planet, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, they'll find a way to keep the game close and more than likely probably win. So, but hopefully Kelsey's injury doesn't keep him out for too long. It's good that it's not an ACL or anything like that, just an hyperextension. So it should be a week-to-week basis injury, not anything too serious. So, but just got to hope that it's not something that lingers throughout the season, or that would really obviously hurt the Chiefs' chances of obviously repeating as Super Bowl champs. But yeah, obviously, I mean, you want your best players on the field, and I mean, week 1 is not looking like it's going to happen. Speaking on Chris Jones, do you guys think that whole contract situation is going to be resolved eventually? And if so, like when do you think like it will be?
That's the thing. I don't know. Like, I feel like I feel like what the Chiefs really need to do, because it seems like they aren't getting anywhere with this, is do something similar to what they did with Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's getting old. Like, don't get me wrong. But I don't know. I don't know all the information. I'll just be upfront with that. But it doesn't seem like anything is like working right now between them. Like, they could throw out a massive deal, and it doesn't seem like things are working.
Yeah. But on the other hand, how many better D tackles are there in the league than Chris Jones?
That's
like
the thing.
He is the best in the league. He is the best you're going to get in that position.
Well, and he lines up anywhere.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Incredibly versatile.
It's insane. But that's the thing. Like, I don't, and I completely agree
same with like Tyreek Hill. And I mean, they shipped him off.
We don't know if they can pay him what he wants because of the Mahomes contract.
Exactly.
So I think that's the big deal. Because like Tyreek Hill, yeah, he's great and all, but I mean, there are a bunch of great receivers in the NFL, and you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. And I mean, obviously that was the right call getting rid of him, considering they won the Super Bowl the year after.
Exactly.
But I mean, Chris Jones is the cream of the crop in terms of D-line. You are not going to get much better than him.
Absolutely.
So I think that they will eventually get a deal done just because Chris Jones is that good. But,
but it's going to take a lot.
Yeah, it is.
I could see him holding out for a long, long time. Like, I hate to say it, but and I think that's going to hurt him though too, a lot. With him holding out, he's just, I mean, that sets him back even farther too.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take, let's be real with ourselves. It'll probably, I mean, yeah, they're going to be in shape. They're going to, you get that, but you haven't played basically. It's going to take at least a month, you'd think, right? To get into the swing of things again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Cincinnati, go get him real quick.
That'd be insane.
That would be nuts.
Yeah, it's definitely something to monitor, see where things stand. As like you said, Joel, it's not looking like anyone's really budging at the moment. So, but it's really comes down to what Chris Jones values more. Does he value the ability to contend and add to his Super Bowl rings, or does he value getting paid? So that's really kind of what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
What is he looking for? And so I think the Chiefs are obviously trying to accommodate him, but like you said, with that Mahomes contract, I mean, I know they've restructured it a couple of times, but still, I mean, he's getting paid so much money, which is well deserved, but that puts a handcuff on what you can do roster building wise. So, and I mean, that's what we saw with Tyreek Hill, and we might see with Chris Jones. They might have no other choice than be like, all right, we're not getting anywhere. Like, let's just do a Tyreek, flip you, get as many assets as we can, and move on from there. So it's really going to be interesting to see what goes on with there and with that situation, because I mean, obviously you had the best player in the world, and you want to obviously win as much as you can with him right now, but it's starting to seem like some of those pieces are starting to kind of fade away. Like Tyreek's gone. They lost a lot of their O-line players this past offseason. Their receivers are pretty depleted. I mean, on that offense, it's really just Kelce and Mahomes. And on the defense, it's Chris Jones and then a bunch of like young guys in the secondary and stuff. So I think the Chiefs, I'm not going to say that they're in like trouble, but they very well could be looking vastly different here come next season, maybe, if they have to move on from Chris Jones and all that stuff. So it's definitely something to monitor to see where that stands between both of them. But I think the Chiefs they have some question marks, but obviously they're still preseason ranked number one. They're still Super Bowl contenders. They're still more than likely going to make the AFC Championship. So I mean, when you have Patrick Mahomes on your team, I mean, we saw it last year with the amount of the talent Patrick Mahomes had around him was not great outside of Kelce, and he willed that team to a Super Bowl. So if you're a Chiefs fan, I mean, obviously you're worried, but as long as Patrick Mahomes playing, you got a good shot to win anything.
You got it. You've got one of the best shots in the league to make something happen.
Yeah. Another thing that I just saw, which I don't know if it's 100% true, but it's a fairly reliable source on Twitter, said that Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow, Nick Bosa, and Chris Jones currently have record deal contract extension offers on the table, per Diana Rossini. So are we going to get a Joe Burrow contract extension soon? Is Nick Bosa going to end his holdout? Did he already end it, or is he's still holding out, right?
He's still holding out.
Speaking of players that need to get paid, Nick Bosa, I don't know how he has not got paid yet.
Dude, I don't.
You talk. I mean, he's the reigning defensive player of the year. You talk about arguably best player in a position that is incredibly important. Nick Bosa is that guy. Like, I don't know.
Well, look at what happened when he was out. When he tore his ACL, right?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Look what happened. I'm pretty sure that year they weren't that good.
No, they didn't make the playoffs.
That whole team got obliterated with injuries, though. Like, it was not just.
That was when they traded up for Trey, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which will go down as one of
the. I mean, that does. The amount of injuries definitely plays a role, but like, I'm just saying, like, when we talk about impactful players, like Nick Bosa is one up there too. Like, there's so many impactful defensive players, especially on the defensive line. Like, it's vitally important that you have a guy like a Nick Bosa on your team.
Yeah, this isn't even Ohio State bias at all.
No.
Like, he's the rating defensive player of the year.
I'm saying it about TJ Watt too, dude.
Yeah, TJ Watt's also that guy. Myles Garrett is also
Myles
that guy.
Garrett, Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Like, these guys.
Players like that are A1, like, diamonds in incredibly important positions. You pay them no matter what.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, it's not like the running back position where people aren't paying these guys due to like injury concerns and all this stuff. Like defensive end, like you said, like obviously Nick Bosa's had his injuries, but I mean,
Yeah.
last year fully healthy, won Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he had how many sacks did he have? He had like
I think it was like 19 or something.
yeah, it was like 18 or 19 sacks. He was absolutely phenomenal. He was a big reason.
And he was getting
that,
pressures left and right.
Oh, yeah. He was one of the big reasons why the 49ers had the best defense in the country. And
Exactly.
for them to be going into the season and him still not having a contract extension baffles me. I would just say whatever you want, I'll give you. Like I mean, and he's still relatively young too.
Yeah, he's 25.
Yeah, he's very young.
So, I mean, I get the like injury concern, but I mean, when he's on the field, he's the best
He's a game wrecker.
player. Yeah. So I don't know what the 49ers are doing. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of players right now who like are up for contract extensions that we thought were already going to be extended who have not been extended. Like for the Bengals, like obviously like T. Higgins and Joe Burrow haven't gotten extended yet. Like you said, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, like some of those guys. Yeah, Jefferson, like obviously those guys are going to get paid, but it's just interesting that we'll see if they actually like maybe a deal comes through here right before Sunday starts, or if they just kind of wait till after the season to start getting back in those talks. So I'm hoping we get the Burrow and T thing figured out quick, just so we know that hey, like,
that would be amazing. But
not that I'm worried that either of them are going to leave, but just to make sure that we got everything locked down. So
absolutely.
All right, should we do some week 1 predictions?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Is there any other notable news that you guys want to talk about NFL wise? Or I think we covered most everything that's fairly recent.
What do you think about that Trey Lance trade?
Yeah, I was gonna say obviously we missed the Trey Lance trade, but I think that looks really bad on the 49ers. I mean, you give up basically what an equivalent of Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Bradley Chubb for a guy who
played 2 games,
2 full games, and then you trade him for like a 4th or 5th round pick, whatever it was.
4th.
Like, it looks bad on the 49ers. I mean, you can't really fault Trey Lance because I mean he never had a chance. Like
no,
he was behind Jimmy G, and we all knew that he needed a year to learn. And then he got in a couple of.
He got his opportunity. He got his opportunity the following season. Played in a monsoon game against the Chicago Bears, and then his ankle.
Then he absolutely shattered his ankle in the next game. So and then Brock Purdy comes along and leads him to an NFC Championship, and then you're kind of like, well, and then Brock and Sam Darnold beat him out in camp, and then I mean now he's a backup for Dak and
Jerry
Dallas.
Jerry Jones just wanted to get in the media. They weren't talking about enough.
They weren't. It's been a while since the Cowboys got coverage.
Yeah, I didn't understand why.
Let me throw a bag of potato chips at Trey Lance.
It didn't really make any sense to me, but whatever. But yeah, I think that's going to go down as like one of the worst draft night trade ever, if not the worst.
I was about ready to say the same. I was about ready to say the same.
Like that could very well be to the level of like the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Brooklyn Nets trade.
This might be the reason the Niners don't win a Super Bowl with this core.
Yeah,
is that trade in and of itself?
Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think Trey Lance is a bust, or will you not give him that?
I can't give him that because he really hasn't given him. Nobody's given him a chance. But at the same time, it's like, dude, what's going on that is causing this? Like I mean,
you get drafted number 3 overall and lose the backup spot to Sam Darnold. Doesn't look very good.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's unfair to call him a bust, but I mean, I think I'm going to call him that until he proves otherwise. Because,
Yeah.
Michael Thomas has played more football over the past 3 seasons than Trey Lance has. So it's not even. That's just a fact.
And Michael Thomas
And
got
I'm
coached
not.
though for 2 years.
Yeah, Michael Thomas gets clowned on for being injured all the time.
Slam boy.
So, yeah, slam boy. But I mean, I think it's unfair to call him a bust, but I think you have to call him that.
Yeah.
So far, unfortunately. I mean, Markelle Fultz has been injured in the NBA for a while, and people still call him a bust.
That's true.
So
yeah, he's actually getting
Think
some playing.
he is getting some playing time.
He is.
He's
But
pretty well. Yeah, I mean, and like Trey Lance isn't going to get a chance in Dallas because you have Cooper Rush and you have Dak. So like,
Yeah.
he's
I don't
really. I mean, he's not gonna. I mean, unless they're thinking of trading Dak, which I don't think they are. Then
unless Dak doesn't perform this year.
Yeah, I think Jerry Jones is like, well, if you're just gonna throw him away, we might as well take him, you know.
Well, what if he's also doing it as a pawn, like to get Dak Prescott motivated too?
Also could be a thing.
Like,
Speaking of trades, what do you guys think of Isaiah Simmons getting traded for his 7th round pick?
that's so funny. That's so funny. When I said that the Cardinals were going to be the worst team in the league, bar none, unless Kyler Murray plays, because I don't think Kyler Murray's going to play at all this year. That's what I'm talking about. Because Isaiah Simmons, their defense still is not great, but Isaiah Simmons is one of your best defensive players. You drafted him in the top 10 a few years back, and you traded him for a 7th rounder. A 7th round pick.
The Giants got a freaking steal.
Like, I get he hasn't lived up to expectations, but a 7th rounder, like, you're openly tanking at that point.
They are.
They are tanking for Caleb Williams. That is what is happening.
Dude, and I saw a video. Their coach could not motivate me to eat a bag of chips.
Oh, Jonathan Gannon? Yeah, I saw
that. No. He could not motivate me to get up off this bed right now and walk to get a bag of chips.
Yeah, they're going to be awful. Maybe when Zach said they were going to go 0-17, he was correct.
I doubt they go 0-17.
Yeah.
I don't.
They'll win one game.
If the 2016 Browns won a game, this Cardinals team will find a way to win a game. At least one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think for me personally, like, I think that they're going to be just a team to like watch. Not watch, but like just like look and see like what they do, because I mean, like, do they play Kyler Murray? Like, and if they do play Kyler Murray and they still get the number 1 pick, like, do they trade Kyler Murray? Like, there's a lot of, I mean, obviously the team's horrible right now, but they have 2 first-round picks this year. They have a quarterback who's young and, when healthy, is a top 10 quarterback in the league. So you like, there's a lot of moving pieces that could happen, and this Cardinals team could get real interesting here come next season when they have guys like potentially Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison, along with whoever they get with that Texans pick, or how bad the Texans will be. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But as of this year, it's going to be very painful to watch the Cardinals.
I'm sorry for Arizona fans.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. All right, let's get into some predictions. We'll start off with the Thursday night game. We talked about this a little bit. Lions-Chiefs. What do you guys think is going to be the outcome for that one?
Honestly, personally, I'm going to go with this. You guys can think I'm crazy. With the Kelce news, and especially if he does not play, I'm going with the Lions.
Yeah. I don't think we need to – we kind of discussed this game with the Kelce injury. I just think I think if they played this game in mid-November, I would take the Lions. But with the amount of time Andy Reid's had to prepare for this game, I think that they'll make a few more plays than the Lions will. So I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one.
I'm going to take the Chiefs as well, but it's going to be a close game, good battle. And I think obviously Kelce and Chris Jones is really going to hurt them. All right, the next relevant game of this weekend. I guess we can do the Bengals and the Browns.
This game is one that I feel it's a big prove it game, I guess, so to say. See what are the Browns going to be? I think they're one of the underappreciated teams heading into this season. With that defense the way it is, and if Deshaun Watson can bring back even an ounce of like what he used to be able to do a couple of years back, I think that could be scary for the AFC North. However, I can't pick the Browns to go over the Bengals, so I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think Burrow's going to take care of it, and
It's looking like he's going to play, so that's
it
good.
is looking like he's going to play. So as long as they can keep him upright, we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think you all know I think you all have known the way I'm leading in this game for a few months now. I'm going to take the Browns in this one.
Yeah.
The Bengals can't sweep the Browns for whatever reason. And whenever Myles Garrett plays the Bengals, he turns into prime Lawrence Taylor. Combine that with Joe Burrow once again not having an offseason really with the team.
Well, they have Zadarius Smith too.
Yeah, Zadarius Smith flanking the other side. That defense is obviously loaded with talent. Deshaun Watson with a full offseason with that team. I'm going to take the Browns in this game. I think the Bengals the past couple of years have always started a little slow and then kind of get it going middle of the year and ride that into January. But yeah, I think the Bengals will get off to a slower start again this year.
I really do think this Browns team's underappreciated.
Yeah,
Browns team's really good. They have a really good roster.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we didn't, with our predictions, we didn't really say it or seem like we did, but I really do. I think this is one of the more underappreciated teams.
Mm-hmm. As much as it pains me to say, I do think the Browns are going to win. Just because, like Nick said, the Bengals usually start off slow. And with Joe Burrow obviously practicing all this week and more than likely being able to play, I mean, we saw last year, week 1, he struggled a lot, but then he picks it up and becomes like an MVP caliber player. So he could just come out guns blazing, which would be awesome. But just, I think it's going to take him at least a game to kind of get back in the swing of things. And like you said, it's in Cleveland, which is also something. And then, I mean, you got Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith, who are nasty on the edge. And like you said, Nick, Myles Garrett just becomes prime Lawrence Taylor against the Bengals every year. So, but I think it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a close game. But I think the Browns are going to take this one. But then I think the Bengals, I think they're going to bounce back, and they're going to be a great team. And I like the Browns. I think they're also going to be a sneaky good team. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see multiple teams in this division maybe squeak into the playoffs. So, but yeah, I think the Bengals are going to lose this one. But our friend Zach's going to be freaking out.
He's going to be
fuming.
He's going to be fuming by you guys.
Yeah, well, if they lose, he's going to be like, dude, he's going to flip out too. But
he's going to flip out and say he's going to flip out and say this is going to be the worst season that they've ever had.
Yep, like he did last year. He's going to be like, Joe Burrow.
That was so funny. Through 2 weeks, he was like, this team's not even going to win. They're not even going to go 500. This offensive line is the worst I've ever seen. And I'm like, their offensive line is bad, but they lost both games off of game-winning field goals. Like,
no kidding, dude.
I
think them some time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be something like that where it comes down to like a field goal, and Zach's going to overreact about it, and me and Joel are going to have to listen to it. But
we're going to have to listen to it hardcore.
If the Bengals lose this week, I'm going to be all over him. I'm going to be instigating
the
that
Jags.
so hard.
The Jags are going to annihilate the Colts, Nick. So
we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, we don't got to talk about that right now.
Speaking of which,
yeah, we might as well just go right into that game, I guess.
I don't think we need to spend a whole lot of time on this game. The Colts haven't won a week 1 game in a decade. The Jags are clearly the best team in this division. The Jags are going to win. They're going to win handily. So
Where's this at again?
It's in Indy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This Colts team is not good. So they're not. As much as it hurts me to say that, they're not good.
Should I be different? Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm going with the Jags.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens with Anthony Richardson, though.
The Colts will be an interesting team to watch, but they're not going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm very interested to see how they play.
Yeah.
I want to see how.
Yeah, no Jonathan Taylor either. Like, it's going to be a rough one in Indy this week.
Michael Pittman needs to have a week for me, please.
Michael Pittman legacy game.
Go ahead, Evan.
Yeah. The Jags are going to destroy them.
Sorry, Jags. But,
Nick, when did you get your jersey in?
It came on Sunday. Right. I bought it. I think it was Thursday night. As I was watching the Utah Florida pregame before it blacked out because consumer whatever. But I ordered it Thursday night and they said it was going to come today, and it was here on Sunday when I got off work, and I was like, oh, this is sick.
Nice.
But yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
Very nice.
Future NFL MVP, Anthony Richardson.
That would be awesome.
That'd be nuts. All right. Next game is the 49ers and the Steelers.
I think this one could be the upset. I think Pittsburgh could beat them. I think it could be because, I mean, obviously you know how that defense is going to play. Brock Purdy coming off injury. Not unsure about what's going to happen. I'm going to pick Steelers in this one. I think Steelers in Pittsburgh. I think they'll take care of business. I think Kenny Pickett's going to, with an extra year of understanding and knowing what to do with the ball, I think that it's going to help him a ton. I think George Pickens could make that step this year. And I also am a fanboy of Deontay Johnson on that offense. But TJ Watt's going to be I think the TJ Watt Trent Williams matchup is going to be nuts.
That's going to be fun.
I'm going to go Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you talk about underappreciated teams. It would not shock me at all if the Steelers found their way into that 6 or 7 seed come playoff time. Their defense is great. Obviously, TJ Watt, one of the best defensive players in the league, the former defensive player of the year. They have stars throughout most of that defense. I do think Kenny Pickett will improve. I think he's going to be better this year. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is a great game to show it off. The Niners defense is also really good. So for that reason, I think I'm gonna roll with the Niners in this game. I think they're just better at all the positions that Pittsburgh is good at.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe quarterback. And even that's kind of like a toss-up because Brock Purdy was playing well. Is he playing this week? Okay. I didn't know if he was like fully recovered from his UCL injury yet or not.
Yep, he's playing.
Yep.
He's been practicing for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 49ers as well, but I think it's going to be a grinded out game. Like you said, Nick, I think Kenny Pickett's going to be better this year. I think he's going to take a big leap, but I don't think this is going to be the game to show it off. I do think because Nick Bosa is more than likely not going to play, right?
Not this week, no.
Yeah. So with Nick Bosa not playing, could help the Steelers' case, but I mean, that defense still is one of the best. And then you got guys. I mean, you still on the other side. I mean, you got CMC, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel, and George. But we'll see what. And George Kittle, yeah. But we'll see what Brock Purdy does. We'll see if he's even able to, like, how that UCL injury actually really affects him. So that'll be interesting to see. But I think the 49ers are going to win this one, but I think it's going to be a lot tougher than people think. I think it's going to be a grinded out game. And I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be a good one for sure.
I love how basically every game I've been the oddball.
Yeah, apart from the Jags Colts game so far, but
Yeah.
you know,
Hey, it's prediction, man.
is what it is. No, I'm not mad at it.
I like them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cardinals Commanders. No, I'm just kidding.
Commanders.
Commanders.
Commanders, 100%.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about
Sam
that.
Howell is about to tear it up this year.
Dude, I'm excited for Sam Howell. Big fan.
This will be one of the Commanders' 3 wins they get on the year.
All right. Do we want to talk about Texans, Ravens, Titans, Saints, or Panthers, Falcons?
We can say who we think, and Bucks, Vikings.
Yeah,
we can just say who's going to win these games.
Okay. Start with Texans, Ravens.
I think I'm very intrigued for this game. Of course, CJ Stroud, first game. I don't think he's going to win, though. I'm very interested to see what this new Ravens offense looks like, though. I think Lamar could have a very unreal year this year. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Like I said, I'm just intrigued by the offense and what it can look like. So I'm going Ravens, of course, in this one.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Ravens. I think Lamar could have his best season since his MVP year with a change in offensive coordinator and some actual receivers. So that's about it. The Texans still aren't good, but it'll be interesting to see how CJ Stroud plays this week.
Yep. Is John Mechie playing?
I think so.
Yes.
So
I'm also going to go Ravens for all the reasons you guys said. So, yeah.
We agree too.
Yep. Bucks, Vikings. This one should be not too difficult.
Give me the Bucks. I'm just kidding. Give me the Vikings.
And who cares? There's always one game this week that it's like the outcome is not what you expected. I'll take the Buccaneers in this game just because I have a feeling that they're going to win.
I have that same feeling. I'm not going to lie. I don't think that the Vikings can stop the run.
Yeah. There's always one outcome per week that it's like, how did this happen? And I'll take this one as it. I'll take the Bucks to win this game.
There you go.
I'm going to go with Big Kirko and go with the Vikings.
Big Kirko.
Baker Mayfield's the quarterback. I don't think he's going to do much, but I do think that, like you said, the run game is going to be real good I think Rashad White's going to have a great game. So, got to get him in fantasy.
I got a debate on whether to start him in fantasy or not in one of my leagues.
I'm starting.
I want to get him.
It's really unfortunate we're at this point in the year where I got to make decisions like that. But
week 1, man.
What a shame. It is what it is.
All right, Titans Saints.
Ooh, this one's actually a lot closer than what I would think.
Battle of Mid.
Yeah, this is Battle of Mid.
I'm taking the quarterback in this one. I'm taking Derek Carr in the Saints.
I think I'll also take Derek Carr and the Saints in the Superdome.
I just think with the weapons, I think Olave is due for an amazing game.
Olave is a beast.
Oh, yeah. I'll also take the Saints. I did a sleeper draft today because I have a fantasy draft later tonight, and I drafted Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave on my team. So got the Ohio State receivers back. Yeah.
You just need Justin Fields as your quarterback, and you
would have
guess what? He was my
quarterback.
He was your
quarterback.
Justin Fields was my quarterback.
Please tell me you got Smith and Jigba too.
I think I got him in another mock, but I don't think I got him.
That would have been hilarious.
Imagine
getting back together again.
Just get all the
Dude, we're getting the band back together.
And honestly, like that could be my wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 the entire year, and I wouldn't be mad at it.
That's true.
So-
Except JSN's,
JSN's not going to play for the first couple games, I don't think.
That's true because he had wrist surgery. I forgot about that.
Yes.
All right, Panthers Falcons. This one should be a fun one. The
This
battle
game
of,
could be interesting.
of
I
the
think it could be
offensive rookie of the year people, Bijan and
Bryce, yeah.
Bryce.
I am very intrigued by this one. I love the Panthers defense. Brian Burns is a freak. Jeremy Chin's a freak. Their perimeter guys, JC Horn's a freak as well. But I think I'm going to go Atlanta. And I think Bijan's going to show why he got taken so high. I think Atlanta. I have Atlanta winning the South, which doesn't say much, but I think Atlanta's going to take care of business in the week 1.
Yeah. I have the Panthers winning the South, but I'm also going to take Atlanta in this game. They have some really good weapons in Bijan, Tyler Algier, Cordero Patterson, Drake London. If they decide to use Kyle Pitts, he's a freak too.
I was gonna say, how are you gonna list Cordero Patterson before Drake London and
No. I just went running backs and then the receivers. That's just how I went about it. But they have really their receiving core, their skill position players are pretty good. They're
pretty nasty.
Yeah, they're pretty good. They could be a disgusting group here this season. Which is why I'm going to take the Falcons at home in this game.
Yeah, I'm also going to go to the Falcons. I think Bijan's going to have an absolute masterful game. He's going to get 20 carries, 20-plus carries because Desmond Ridder can't throw the ball. And Arthur Smith likes to run the ball. So, I think it's going to be a close game. I'm actually kind of thinking I'll be watching that game. I think it'll be fun. But I got the Vikings, or not the Vikings, what the heck, the Falcons. All right. Moving on to the 4 o'clock games. We got the headliner, Dolphins Chargers.
Ooh. I like this game.
Is this the game of the week?
I think this is my game of the week, not because I think it's the best matchup, but when I was doing my season predictions, the last wild card spot in this conference came down to this game.
Yeah.
It might not seem like it right now, but come week 17 or 18, when you're looking at playoff scenarios, the big thing might be who wins this game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So who you taking here, Nick?
I have the Chargers making the playoffs and the Dolphins missing, so I'm gonna take the Chargers in this game at home.
I think I'm gonna go with this game. I think I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I'm gonna put the trust in that defense that they have. Again, I know it's the Chargers, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think Tua with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle is going to be enough to do a lot because I'm not impressed with the Chargers defense whatsoever. I think Dolphins take care of this one.
I am also going to go with the Dolphins. I think Tua is going to have a good game. I think Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are going to get theirs. But I think it's going to come down to that defense with, obviously, with Bradley Chubb. And then you got a good linebacking core. Obviously,
you got Jalen Phillips, too.
Yeah, Jalen Phillips. And, Jalen Ramsey's not going to play, obviously. But I feel like the Chargers are also one of those teams that they usually start off slow. And they kind of pick up pace towards the end of the season. So I got the Dolphins in this one. But it's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a great game.
All right, next up on the docket, we got the Raiders and the Broncos.
This is the real headliner for the 425 slate. Let me tell you what.
The AFC West.
I can't wait to not watch a single second of this game.
Give me the Broncos.
The Broncos are going to beat the Raiders by a lot.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Yeah. I think the Raiders are I think they're the worst team in the AFC for me this year. And I think the Broncos will be improved with Sean
You think
Payton.
they're going to be worse than your Colts, Nick?
I do. I have
Really?
I have the Colts beating them in week whatever it is late in the year at home, and that's the difference between them two. But yeah.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
the Raiders losing. The Broncos are going to destroy them.
I mean, I have the Broncos. I have the Broncos going to in the playoffs. So of course,
I think you kind of have to pick the Broncos here.
I'm high on them this year, man.
I was high on them last year. And that didn't really work out.
I was also high on them last year, but it also Nathaniel Hackett kind of messed that up.
Yeah. All right, Eagles Patriots. This one should be.
I think this matchup's actually intriguing with it being in Foxborough.
That's true.
But I can't pick against the Eagles in this one. I think the Eagles are going to take care of business. I think you got so much talent. There is a bunch of pieces that are going to be different on that defensive side of the ball. But I mean, when you bring in the Georgia Eagles, it's kind of that does help matters. But I'm going to go with the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles as well. That team is loaded. And there's only so much Bill Belichick is going to be able to do.
Yep.
Against the offense that they have. Mac Jones I don't think he's going to be able to move the ball that well.
We all know.
Yeah, we all know how Zach feels about Mac Jones.
Bad.
I'm not that low on him, but
No.
I mean, I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to do much against the Eagles this game. So
Yeah, I also have the Eagles winning. Also the Eagles. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how Bill O'Brien runs that Patriots offense, because obviously Matt Patricia was the OC last year, and that didn't end well. But so it'll be interesting to see how Bill O'Brien runs that offense. But I mean, the Eagles are just the better football team. So.
Yep. And I'm interested to see how new coaching and actually having a capable coach helps Mac Jones this year.
Yes. Packers Bears. Joel, I know this was a game you were liking.
I love this matchup so much. Jordan Love, we don't know about him. Justin Fields expected to take that big step this year. And you know my butt is riding the Bears train. I'm taking the Bears in this one. I think they made so many good moves this offseason. Bringing in your wide receiver one, I think Justin Fields is due for a great year. Going to start off on the right foot. Give me Justin Fields and the Bears.
This game is the more that I think about this game, the more I want to pay attention to it. Because like at first you look at the schedule and it's like Packers Bears, how good are both these teams going to be? But then it's like you said, they added DJ Moore. We don't know about Jordan Love. He's still a pretty big unknown for this team.
Even a young talent in this game.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm going to go with the Packers, though. I think they have the better head coach in I'm drawing a blank right now. Matt LaFleur, that's his name.
Matt LaFleur, yeah.
I think they have a much better head coach than Matt LaFleur. I think their run game is going to work wonders with Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, like it usually does. And I think if Jordan Love can be enough of a game manager to not put the game in harm's way, I think the Packers will do enough to get it done.
Yeah, fair enough.
Joel, I'm going to go with the Bears. I'll be on your side. I think, like you said, the Bears made a lot of changes, especially on the defensive side of the ball, bringing in Edwards and Edmonds. So their linebackers are good. And you got Justin Fields as wide receiver one. They upgraded the offensive line a bit. So I think the Bears are going to be good. And I think we're going to see. I'm very interested to see how Jordan Love plays off the bat with him, Christian Watson, obviously you got Aaron Jones, all those guys. But I think it's going to be a close game. But I got the Bears edging it out. I think Justin Fields is going to run pretty well, and we'll see how the DJ Moore Justin Fields connection goes. Joel, I know you're hoping that goes pretty well this week.
I'm high on that matchup, man.
Do you have DJ Moore in this league or no?
In our league, yeah, I have DJ Moore.
Yeah, he's got the Justin Fields, DJ Moore stat.
My dad drafted DJ Moore as his wide receiver 2, in one of his
Really?
leagues. He said his running backs are really good. I think he's got like Bijan and a couple other guys. But I was like, he also had Jamar Chase as wide receiver 1.
Oh, so I mean, he got Bijan and Jamar.
I think so. He plays in a bad league. It's with the people at his work. But I was like, you better hope Justin Fields learned how to throw a football.
Can I be in this league, please?
No, I wanted to be in this league, but I don't work there. So it's a real shame. But I was like, you better hope Justin Fields learn how to throw a football at the NFL level. Otherwise, that DJ Moore pick is not going to be too great.
He's my wide receiver 3 in that league, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
Plus, Drake London's my wide receiver 4, so.
Oh, you're chilling on receivers. You're A-okay.
Oh,
amen.
Before we move on to the next game, the Duke professor said no to the extension for the quarterback.
What?
They said no.
What a terrible professor. He gave that entire campus something to celebrate for the whole year until basketball season. And you're not going to help him out this one time. That's unbelievable.
So exciting. Congratulations to you and all your teammates. But Wesley Williams and the other linemen who were in the class, they said they prepared ahead and did it ahead of time. So why didn't the quarterback?
No extension.
No
Too
extension. Just because you're the quarterback, you think you get special privilege? No.
All right. Back to the topic at hand. We got the Rams Seahawks next. Wait, did I give a Packers? I did it.
You did
Yeah,
Bears.
You said Bears.
The Bears. Rams Seahawks.
Dubos. Where's this one? Where's this game at?
It's in Seattle.
Seahawks. This is easy. I'm
Um,
going Seattle.
yeah, I'll roll with the Seahawks in this game too.
I think that I don't think Gino's going to have near as good a year as last year. I'm saying that straight up. I don't think it's sustainable. But Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, two-headed monster in your backfield. Their defense has made some steps. I think they're on the right track. But and it's also the Rams. The Rams have the worst offensive line in the league, in my opinion. It's awful.
Sorry, my mom just walked into my room.
Nick's got his Colts blanket now.
Yeah, I got my Colts blanket, baby. I don't know why. This room's gonna be decked out in a couple days. I tell you what, man.
Next podcast is gonna be all Colts
Next
stuff.
Next podcast, baby.
But I'm going with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Seahawks. Nick.
I'm going with the Seahawks as well. No, I don't think the Rams are going to have Cooper Kupp for this game either.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Van Jefferson, wide receiver 1.
Yeah, Van Jefferson, baby. And the at Seattle, I just think the Seahawks are a better team. The Rams are kind of in a rebuilding mode. So yeah, I'll go with Seattle.
It's hard. It's hard to win in Seattle. Let's be real with ourselves. Seattle is one of the toughest places to play.
Yeah.
One of the tougher ones to play. I mean.
RIP Cooper Cup managers for this week. It's getting tough. But I got the Seahawks winning in Seattle. I think they have the better team. I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a good game. I think Gino is going to do decent. So I think it's Seahawks are going to take it. All right, last game on the Sunday slate, we got the Cowboys and the Giants NFC East rival.
I'm actually intrigued by this, and it's in
New Jersey.
New Jersey. I'm gonna take the Cowboys. I think that I trust Dak more, and I feel like, yes, there's been so much pressure on him this offseason to cut down on the turnovers, things like that. And I think Pollard's going to help out with that. And the defense, and I have preached this defense up and down so much. I think that this defense is one of the best. You got Dan Quinn as the DC. He knows what he's doing. But I think CeeDee Lamb could have a pretty good game. CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard could have pretty legit games on that Sunday night game. I think Saquon could have a decent game, but I don't think Danny Dimes is going to do enough to help carry that load and beat Dallas. So I'm going Dallas.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cowboys as well. I think the Giants are going to come back down to earth a little bit this season. I don't think Daniel Jones is good, even though they just gave him a contract extension. And this is off topic because I do think the Cowboys hype this year is warranted. But it seems like every other year they are the opening game on Sunday Night Football.
It does.
It seems like every year, every other year they are.
Unless it's like some unreal game that you can't.
Like you can't, like they have scheduled that you can't pass up. But it seems like in these games where there's not a clear like headlining matchup outside of Bills Jets, who we'll talk about in a second. There's not a clear like headliner. They just throw the Cowboys on because and it's
America's team.
It's annoying. But yeah, I'll go with the Cowboys in this game as well.
Yeah, they forced us to watch Cowboys football.
Yeah,
but
force it right down our throats.
Yeah, but I'm going to have the Cowboys winning this one. I think I agree with you, Nick. I think the Giants are going to come back to earth a little bit. I really like CeeDee Lamb. I love Tony Pollard. They still got Micah Parsons. That defense still won very good. So I think the Cowboys are going to take this one pretty handily. All right, now we got Trayvon Diggs. Yeah, I forgot about Trayvon Diggs. All right, now we got probably the biggest game of the week. Monday night, Bills Jets.
I just hope I can actually watch this game.
Yeah, if I don't have ESPN back by Saturday for whatever reason, I will have it back by Monday to watch this game. I will not be missing this game. You will find me glued to the TV screen.
Amen. Amen to that. Dude, this game is going to be nuts. Two defenses that are stellar. New look offense with Aaron Rodgers at the helm for the Jets. Plus, you're going against Josh Allen, a top 3 quarterback in the league. But hear me out, ladies and gents. I'm going with the Jets, Jets, baby. Give me the Jets.
I think this game is so tight. So I flipped a coin. And it landed on heads, so I'm going to take the Bills in this game. I mean, this game can go either way. The Jets, I mean, obviously adding Aaron Rodgers, we don't know if it's all going to be like there in week 1, and I kind of know what I'm getting with the Bills, which is why I flipped the coin, because it was so close for me. So I guess I'll roll with the Bills this game. If it's wrong, blame the piece of metal. Is what it is.
Blame the piece of metal.
I will not take responsibility for getting this game wrong. But I will take responsibility for getting it right if the Bills win.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Joel, your takes suck.
This one's a tough one.
It's really tough.
In the AFC East.
You could do what I did. Yeah.
I'm going to make a educated guess. Yeah, I mean, you got like a whole new team for the Jets. You got Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson's getting hyped up a lot. You got Breece Hall's playing, correct? Or no?
I think so.
I don't know.
That I would have to do more research on that.
Him and Dalvin Cook, I don't know if both of them are playing or one of them, I can't remember. But obviously that defense is really good. And then you got the Bills on the other side, who also have a good defense with no Von Miller. And then you have, obviously, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I think this one's going to be an absolute shootout. I think it's going to be hands down the best game we see. But I'm going to have to lean the Bills' way just because I feel like it's going to take –
roll with the coin!
I feel like it's going to take a sec for the Jets to, kind of mesh. Even though I think the Jets are going to be very good, but the Bills already got that chemistry down and stuff. But it is going to be in New Jersey, which is interesting. But I mean, not really that much of road trip for the Bills. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if after this game, people will be like, "Oh, we were too high on the Jets," just because that's what the media likes to do. But I think the Jets and the Bills are both great teams, and I think the Bills are going to take this one. But I can see the Jets taking the Bills game later on, possibly.
Hall did not participate in Monday's practice,
Gotcha. I knew he was questionable.
and this was this morning at 9:30.
So he is still questionable. Probably.
Yes. And I think
All right.
Cook will get the majority of the touches in these first couple weeks, especially the short yardage and change of pace back. So
Yeah, I would agree. All right. Well, those are week 1 predictions. Football's getting in full swing now. It's
I'm
a
excited.
Back, baby.
great time to be alive. We are going to be doing weekly recaps, reviews, and predictions after each week of the NFL. Every Tuesday we're going to record, and they'll be up on Wednesdays. So every Wednesday you'll get an episode from us talking about each week, some headlines to look into for the upcoming week, our thoughts on the week before, and some predictions. So kind of how we structured it today. But yeah, should be a good NFL season. We're excited.
And maybe throw in some college ball in there too.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
there's
maybe
any other
some
big
college
headlines, we'll probably touch on them too. But yeah, if you like,
becomes notable.
yeah, if you like it, subscribe. Hit the like button, share it with your friends, your family, whoever likes football. Trying to hit 100 subs. We're pretty close. Yeah,
Hopefully we get Weaver on the next one.
that's real.
Yes, we will get Weaver
Weaver
on the
will
next
be back. Hopefully,
He will be back. He couldn't be with us today because he is busy. But it'll be us 4 every week on Tuesdays. So, yeah, it's gonna wrap it up for us today. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, do what Nick just said, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.